I think we could almost all agree that things are pretty grim right now. I mean, Doom Eternal just got some great reviews, so that's positive, but outside of that, as far as news or even a lot of media, not the most positive outlook as far as things going forward. So in this video, what I want to give you are a few things that you can look forward to. Some of the exciting upcoming mods on their way to actually not only Fallout 4, but also Fallout New Vegas. A couple of the major things we have are significant updates for Fallout 4 New Vegas, including some very exciting new screenshots. If you're not familiar, that is the Fallout New Vegas Remake mod. But also Fallout Miami just posted their seasonal update, and we got a ton of new gameplay around Fallout the Frontier. Basically the biggest mod we've ever seen come to a Fallout game, and one that is approaching a release date. So maybe we'll actually get to play it pretty soon, or even a bit earlier due to everything else that's happening. There has actually been some discussion that now that many people are stuck at home, we may see mod projects start to kind of ramp up as people just have more free time. Either way, in this video, we're going to talk about all of that and a little bit more. If you enjoy the content or just want to have some cool things to do, I'm actually going to have several videos focused on giving you guys ideas to start a new Fallout 4 playthrough or even some of the older Fallouts. But with that being said, let's first and foremost look at some of the recent updates we got around Fallout 4 New Vegas. We got several new images of the world space, and this in particular just looks great. We see several of the very notable and kind of famous at this point locations that you could find throughout Fallout New Vegas, including a vault, which I'm very excited for. The vaults in particular, I feel like were quite notable and distinctive in New Vegas compared to a lot of the other Fallout games, several of which had significantly darker stories than we've really ever seen since. But also, we hear some about Goodsprings. They actually shared this concept image way back in 2017, but now we're at the stage where Goodsprings is largely complete. And as such, we could actually see an updated look as to what it actually looks like in game, and it looks great. As a little head-to-head comparison, this is what it looks like in the Fallout 4 New Vegas mod compared to just modded New Vegas in 2020, so quite a significant improvement in Fallout 4 New Vegas. And that in particular does get me pretty excited, as I feel like a lot of my nostalgia with New Vegas is associated with Goodsprings because it's that intro spot, the one that you've probably experienced the most just as a byproduct of subsequent playthroughs. Although we also get a look at several of the more minor assets coming with this, something that I feel like isn't super glamorous, but a core part of mod projects like this one. You have to create all the little knickknacks that you find in the background, some of those miscellaneous items, and we get a look at several of those here, which do look pretty great. So without a doubt, definitely a pretty cool one. I'm excited to see what else they share in the future. They also just posted this image, which definitely raises some questions. Although outside of that, taking a look at the sister overhaul mod, we also do have Fallout Miami. This one not actually being quite a remake, but rather a DLC-sized experience within Fallout 4, taking place specifically within Miami. So just an overall update they actually share with this larger seasonal update. They mention how with the mod, they're really moving on to a more technical side of development, and as such, it's not as glamorous to share some of those details. But even further, how they still are recruiting 3D artists. So if you are a 3D artist, I will have links to all of these mods, including this one, down below. But some of the first things we can see are actually some concept art around equipment that will be associated with the Enclave faction in Miami. Firstly, the Predator Power Armor. This is a power armor specifically designed to be useful in the Miami landscape, going through jungles or even other marsh-style environments, but also described as being a more high-tier power armor that you'll get later in the story of Fallout Miami. We also get a look at some of the items that this faction will be using, including what is described as the Advanced Plasma Caster. It's an improvement on the design of the original plasma caster, giving you a similar functionality with just a lobbing shot, or alternatively, you can convert this into a Gatling gun or a railgun. This, of course, taking full advantage of Fallout 4's weapon customization system, and I think just making the weapon overall a lot more interesting, makes it quite a bit more versatile and much more fitting for this world. We could also see one of the icons that will be associated with this faction. The Enclave will be a joinable faction in Fallout Miami, and this will be what represents them. We get a look briefly at a new location as well as a description of it. It'll be a trade hub that actually occupies the Real World Convention Center in Miami, and it's going to be a heavily fortified position that has a real focus on commercial activity and protecting those engaging in that commercial activity. We saw a bit of this in the trailer in the past, and all around I love when they take some of those existing locations, things that'll look familiar probably to people that lived in Miami, and actually introduce them in the game as a repurposed and useful facility. And somewhat similar to Diamond City security, the center will also have their own security force. We can see concept art of them here, as well as some lore or backstory describing how Vault-Tec was actually a major investor in Center, and as such we could see that represented on their uniforms, and perhaps even more so in the overall mod. We also get some concept art of the leader of this security, that being Clyde Anderson, but also the mayor of the center, that with Janet Anderson. And they basically describe how with the center, thus far they've been very reluctant to actually expand, just focusing internally on their singular location. But as it's grown, it's become quite crowded, and as we find these guys in the mod, there's actually going to be some opposition to this current mayor, another council member putting their name forward. But then to end things off, we do have a look at a couple of animals or creatures that will be coming with this, the first of which is a mingo. These are described as not being particularly threatening, but definitely something you'll see a lot of throughout the vacation wasteland. But also a look at gecko meat. Last time we saw some of the geckos coming with this mod, and now we see their meat, which actually looks pretty cool. This has a really nice design going on with it. And I would argue overall, out of all of the overhaul mods we've pretty much ever seen for Fallout 4, Fallout Miami actually has some of the coolest and most interesting creature design, a lot of which of course is inspired by the real world Miami and that landscape itself. So both those mods look great. Full links to them and where you could actually keep up to date with them, whether it be Discord or other social media, down below. But if you want something a bit more tangible and potentially something that will release quite a bit sooner, we also do have Fallout The Frontier. This is a comprehensive, basically game-sized mod on its way to Fallout New Vegas. It's been in development for years now, and we just recently saw some pretty significant updates. A new periodic update just detailing some of the progress, but also 25 minutes of gameplay doing some of the major quests and introducing us to some of the major characters. I'll provide links to both of these down below, but as far as what kind of progress or additions have recently been added, we hear that a couple of new radio stations were just implemented, including one that's going to act as a news radio station, which is pretty cool. I feel like that's one of those little details that will kind of really immerse you in the world, especially if it's reactive, which hopefully, considering it's news, it is. So as you complete quests, progress the story, the radio will actually reflect that. We also hear about how voice acting work continues and a snippet is shared.
Good to see you again. Is there something I can do for you? In a nutshell, I'm the person who acts on behalf of the Domina. I oversee visitors, low-level internal issues, and the garrison here at the tower.
And then how there still is a major focus on playtesting and optimization, fixing bugs, but also ensuring that performance is not taking a hit. And then just in the 25 minutes of gameplay, I think large in part most of this will speak for itself.
Shed the earthly flesh.
A new visitor, and you're an unholy one? This is very unusual to have an unholy guest arrive in our church. No unholy has ever survived the holy guardians of the church. Perhaps faith has brought you here, unholy one.
Bribes, contraband, whatever it is, you need to put a stop to it.
And I'm doing my best. We have some leads and made a promising arrest. Stop worrying. If the problem is in Goose Hollow,
I'll have a link down below to the full gameplay, but this really draws me in. This is one of those mods that I don't think I really have to say much of. I'll just show you some raw gameplay snippets and you're probably pretty excited for it. Again, this is one that is getting very close to release, so hopefully in just the next few months we get more details around that. But otherwise, looking at some other mods for Fallout 4 that are smaller, so likely won't take quite as long to release as some of these large overhauls. First up, we do have the Courier Duster. This being based off the concept art for the Duster to appear in Fallout New Vegas, and I gotta say, this just looks awesome. We can see in some of the images, this will actually have several customization options, so you can pick and choose a variety of accessories to actually appear on this one, but also customization options in the way of logos that'll appear in the back of the Duster. So you can really customize what kind of look and feel you want it to have, many of which, of course, are directly from New Vegas. This armor outfit overall just looks awesome, and I feel like the New Vegas nostalgia is really at an all-time high as of late, and this is definitely going to be a cool addition to Fallout 4. On the other side of the spectrum, we also get a look at the Mark 18. So this looks awesome. It's by Hyper & Co, so you know it's going to be high quality, the same developers of the RU556. From this post, it's not totally clear whether or not this will just be an update for the RU556 or a standalone weapon, but I really don't care. It doesn't really matter. It looks great. It definitely looks like it's going to be a great new addition to Fallout 4, and even though the images get me very hyped, the video showcasing the new animations that will be coming with this mod gets me far more excited for it. You can actually see a lot of unique stuff. A canted shooting position, several different reload types, and just more custom or unique looking animations compared to the plethora of AR style animations we have already. These ones stand out, which I feel like with the current Fallout 4 landscape as far as modding goes is really important. So definitely one to get very excited for. It's looking like this will definitely be a top tier weapon mod. Outside of that, we also see some more updates on the upcoming update to the M2 flamethrower. We get a look at a couple of armor pieces that will seemingly be associated with this one, and just in general, we can see how awesome this flamethrower looks. This update's been a work in progress for a while. We've seen several teasers of custom attachments or other unique aspects of this that will be shipping with the update to make it feel a little bit cooler in game. We could also see some additional updates to the Metro Exodus Takar, which is basically an air rifle from Metro Exodus that is being recreated for Fallout 4, and this new image set just looks awesome. It's only 2 images, but they're immensely high quality and really show off the detail that this mod will feature. I really love this crossover that we've been seeing as of late with Metro content coming to Fallout 4, and I think most of you probably share my enthusiasm for it. Another pretty cool one we just got a teaser for is the Black Devil Power Armor. We saw some concept art or a work in progress aspect of this a while ago, but just recently we actually got a look at what this seemingly will look like in game, being a bit of a different take on the iconic Enclave power armor, but still looking just awesome, especially considering the absolute drought that we've had in regards to power armor mods over the past few months. But overall, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. Hopefully you guys found this video informative, or even just as kind of a brief light at the end of the tunnel, giving you some stuff to look forward to, and frankly, there's quite a bit to look forward to over the next couple of weeks. I'll likely do a live stream of some kind on that, but we also have Half-Life Alyx. I'll probably stream that. I have some VR focused videos with the renewed interest in that platform. Let's take a look at how good you could get Fallout 4 VR to look nowadays with modding. And of course, Wastelanders is now 3 weeks away. Like literally from today, we have 3 more weeks. I'm kind of crossing my fingers Bethesda might push up the release date at least slightly, but if nothing else, the PTS has been seeing quite a bit in the way of new invites, so I'm sure many of you are already playing. With all that being said, I thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. But with that, I hope to see you all next time. Later.